Hi, this is the Numeric Citizen. In today's video, I'm spending 60 minutes with Pixelfed, an open source, open web web service for sharing photos. And if you are a user of Instagram right now or any other photo sharing web service, this is the video you should watch because you'll learn that there's an alternative that you can consider for your own photo sharing needs. So for this video, again, I'm spending 60 minutes and I'll start the timer right here. So this is the current onboarding Pixelfed initial screen where you can sign up for this instance of Pixelfed. So before going into that, I have to say that I've been using photo sharing websites for a long time. The first website that I was using is a Flickr, and then eventually I migrated to 500px, and then eventually to SmugMug, and more recently I've been using Glass, a paid service for photographer or amateur photographers. And over the years, I've been hearing about Pixelfed for a few times, and I think the service, the whole concept of Pixelfed open source project came up to life in 2018, and the at first the service didn't click with me because in recent years I've been using on and off Instagram, and I was kind of happy with that. But as the years passed, the Instagram became a major problem for me because of the lack of interest or the lost focus on the photographic artistic movement or area. So I kind of more and more been looking for alternative to Instagram. So again, if you are really fed up with Instagram, you should really consider alternative like Pixelfed. By the way, I'm not paid or I'm not doing any promotion. I don't have any link to the to this guy here, which is one of the founder of the project. So I'm doing that just to explore with you and demo the whole thing, so that you have a better idea of how Pixelfed is working. So again, I've been using, I've been on Unsplash. This is my Unsplash page, profile page. I've been also using SmugMug, and this is my Glass profile page where I've been posting more recently, like one photo per week, more or less. So the Pixelfed is based on it's very similar to Mastodon, which is a federation of instances where you can sign up. You select the instance where you want to post your photo, and then once you're signed up, you can start posting your photos, and the photos that you will be posting there can be seen by other user on other Pixelfed instances in the federation. This is why we call that the Fediverse ecosystem. And in that respect, Pixelfed is really looking like a dedicated photo sharing service, which looks and act and behave pretty much like a Mastodon instance. So when you are in this ecosystem, you can imagine that you can follow someone on Pixelfed from a Mastodon account or even from microblog, which support the open web, where you can not only see people photos on coming out on Pixelfed from Mastodon, but you can also comment from Mastodon or from microblog. And this is possible because the ActivityPub is part of the old ecosystem behind Pixelfed. So yeah, this is really an open web alternative which means that you don't get any user activities tracking. There is no private information tracking. There is no profiling of you because there's no ads on your Pixelfed timeline. And speaking of the timeline, the timeline itself is not. It's only a chronological timeline. So there is not the usual things that you'll find on Instagram, where the focus is to maximize the engagement. So it's really what the web used to be a long time ago, and that we are less and less seeing. But thanks to Mastodon and services like Pixelfed, I think there is a kind of a balancing behavior, or we're seeing kind of the return of a more balanced world. My hope is that we see that more and more. So this is the initial screen when you sign up for this specific Pixelfed instance. And what we can see here is that according to the current information that we see, there is about 4.6 million posts on this instance. There is about 10,000 active users, and for a total of 86 active or 86 total user on this instance. And I've been using this specific instance like for more than a week from now, and those numbers are slowly increasing. So I think this instance is one of the first in the Pixelfed Federation. And there's a lot of users, not a lot are very active. So if you're looking for a place where if you are a big if you have a big followers of on Instagram and you want to replicate that on Pixelfed, as I'm recording this, don't expect that to happen because there is not millions of people out there. It's a much smaller community. But for me, I'm just fine with that because I just want to share my work. I'm not taking myself too seriously. I just want to share photos, and if people happens to be on the same instance or the instances of Pixelfed, that's fine. They can react to those images. They can comment on those. They can reshare them. They can share them online. They can do pretty a lot of things with them, and I'm okay with that. I'm not looking for millions of followers anyway. So I'll sign up to this. I'll log into this instance, my instance. I'll post an article soon where I'll describe the exact sign up process of on this instance. So this is where you will see what are the screens that are coming up when you sign up to an instance. For this one is the original Pixelfed instance. This is the about screen section that you'll see there. This is the rules. Each instance can set their own rules for the community, and also all the features that are supported in this instance, which is very important because this is where, depending on the type of content you want to share, maybe you'll select an instance over another one. So this is the maximum file size. It's for photos, it's a 15 megabyte size, which is respectable. I mean, I'm not trying to post high resolution images for let's say for selling those images. It's only for being seen on the screen. So I think 15 megabytes is pretty much okay for my case anyway. But for videos, the size is bigger. So you see, you can post photos, you can have albums, you can use photo filters if you're using the mobile app that is available still in beta right now on test flight if you are on iOS. You can create collection, which I did. You can comment, you can use hashtags, you can use likes. So those are the things that you'll find on Instagram, by the way. You can have a notification, but the notification that we see here are not the push notification on the mobile app as I'm recording this, but they are coming. And of course, you can share a specific post and you can embed them in other services like a WordPress or a Ghost-based website. So this is the feature of this instance. So I'll log into that. Just enter my username and password, and then boom. This is the initial view of this instance, of the general look of the Pixelfed user interface. It's a new user interface because there used to be an older design before. If I go back to that, so this is the previous generation. So I'll get back to the thing. Can do that here. Yeah. So as any Fediverse service like Mastodon, there's the home feed where this is the post that you'll see from people that you are following, much like on Instagram, but it's in chronological order. This is my own post, but you can, if I scroll down, I'll see other people that I'm following, other posts. There's the local feed. So this is the people being signed up to this specific instance of Pixelfed. So you'll see posts from there. And then there is the global feed. The global feed is something that is pretty much the same as you can see on Mastodon. So this instance talk to other instances of Pixelfed because you can run your own instance of Pixelfed. So if this instance talk to other users on other instances, you might end up being able to see other users post in this global feed. So this is the federation in action. And then you can respond to those users posting their own pictures there, and then they can start to follow you, and then you can start to follow them, just like on Mastodon. One word of caution though here is that you might, and I did see a lot of not suitable for work content, so sexually explicit content. So I don't know on what I'm going to land here if I click on that. So yeah, there's a few things like a lot of cats on here, but as you can see, there is a content here that is, I'm not subscribing to those guys, but here this is what it is. This is the federation where I could click on that and see this content. So I'll go back to my home feed. On the right here, there's the thing called notifications. So basically, this is all the people who liked my post, started to follow me, or if they mention me on their own post and things like that. So if I go on that, if I hover my mouse on this list of posts, I can see which posts they were liking. So this is nice. Oh, by the way, there's no ads there. It's pretty clean environment, and I like that. So this guy decided to follow me, so I can click on this profile and see his picture. And again, you'll see how many pictures this guy has posted, how many posts, how many followers is following, how many people, and a brief description and the time he joined this specific instance. And if I look at this collection of images, I can see that pretty much like we do on Instagram, but you can also use the Mansory style to have respect the aspect ratio of the images. And then you can have a kind of a timeline look at this guy photos. So you see in order they were posted, and you'll see there's a collection here tab where if I click on that, this guy doesn't have any collection defined. I do have a few of them, so I'll show you later. So this is how you you look at other people. So again, I'll go back in this pop-up menu. There is again the same action I can do. There's the home feed, the local feed, and the global feed. There is a discover section, which it's not clear how those posts are going up there. I think there's like images that are getting a lot of likes and a lot of comments. So this is the most algorithmic based thing that you'll see on Pixelfed. And as you can see, this is something that is very intentional. You have to go there and you are expecting to see there things that are popular. So if you want to see those, you can go there. You can also explore based on tags. So if I explore based on tags, um, this is the tags that I'm following because I like things about urban exploration. So this is a lot of that. Um, and also you can see memories. This is posts that you have put online, and like from a few years from now, I'm guessing that we'll start to see what I posted like two years ago. So this is kind of the same thing we get on the iPhone Photos app, where you can see back memories of your posts. If I go back there, I can also see a few account insights. So these people are being there. I mean, those are my uh, popular, um, my own popular post, and these are my followers. I'm not exactly popular post. Okay, this is kind of a summary of my account, my own account. I didn't really pay attention to that. So this is the one that is getting in the most likes, and I posted that 3 days ago. So I can look at this one. So this is a picture from a recent trip to Morocco, and I did put a short description, and this is all the likes and no comments, but this is what people, seems that people like this a lot. So again, if I go back to Discover, and then this is where I can find friends. So again, this is pretty much what we get on Instagram. And I don't know how people there are being, I think they are suggestion, those suggestions comes from the fact that those people has many followers for some reason, and then you can just start to see that. But I not very paying too much attention to this. Also, if I go back there, you will see that you can use direct messages pretty much like you can do on Instagram. So if I go there, I send for testing purposes, I send a direct message to a guy I'm following. Is from Portugal. This guy is everywhere, by the way. So I kind of send him a message directly to him. There's a mention here that direct messages on Pixelfed are not end-to-end encrypted, so we should not share sensitive information by using this direct messaging function or feature of Pixelfed. So again, hey, yo, testing messaging feature of Pixelfed, feel free to reply. I'm working on a YouTube video about Pixelfed. Thanks. I could send him again a picture myself, and I guess he could respond to with a comment and a picture. So and this guy is not this I sent this message to this guy, but this address here is from Mastodon. So as you can see, even though I'm using Pixelfed, I can talk to other people that are on other open web service like Mastodon. And I think this is one of the most interesting thing about the open web. If you compare that to Instagram, where in Instagram, to my knowledge, you cannot send a direct message from Instagram to someone on Tumblr or someone on Flickr, for example. This is all kind of silos that don't really talk to each other. This is cool because you can talk to each other by just posting and tagging other people living on other instances of either Pixelfed or Mastodon, and this is pretty cool. And I can show you something. As you can see, maybe you already know, I'm a big fan of microblog, which is a microblogging service. And this is my timeline earlier this morning, and I posted an image. I'm following myself, my own account, which is the numeric citizen at pixelfed.social. And this is my profile description that was read or processed by microblog by talking to Pixelfed to get all the profile details. So this is what you were seeing there. So earlier this morning, I posted an image with this description. So from this post, only the text and tags are being pulled by microblog, and so I can see them here. But I decided also to cross-post this content to microblog, and the image is part now of the post, and all my followers are seeing that in their timeline. So as you can see, you can kind of cross-post content from different services, and this is, I think it's a very cool feature of the open web. And what is cool is that someone from microblog could just reply to that message, and then I would see that coming up to Pixelfed from within the Pixelfed web page. So I mean, it's very interesting, this integration of different services, and I think it's pretty cool. And by the way, from Pixelfed, if I want to follow somebody who is using a Mastodon account to post a lot of image, I could decide to follow this guy from my Pixel account, even if he's on Mastodon, and then I could reply to those posts. And yeah, this is very, very cool. So now, if I go back to the Pixelfed main page, so I click on that, this is what I'm seeing. I can do search here. I can search for Montreal, that's the city where I'm living, and I'll wait for that. And what it will show me is accounts with Montreal in their account name. Those people might be on Pixelfed, they might be on Mastodon, they might be on microblog, and they might be everywhere in the Fediverse. And also you'll see posts with hashtag, with the Montreal hashtag. So let's say I click on that, so it will show me a different post. As you can see, Pixelfed is not only about photos of artistic photos, it's anything really with pixel in them. So as you can see, this is one of my image, by the way, here. This is another one because I tagged them. But you can see other things like weather-related information with a visual presentation. There is a map. Oh, this is another one from me. There's even small videos. And I don't know where those images are coming from, but this is where this instance of Pixelfed is aware of in the federation, because this is talking to other instances. Again, this is super cool. So this is what I'm seeing right now. And if you look at that again, for some reason it's kind of buggy. It's kind of very slow right now. Okay, so if I go back here and I search for Morocco, I'll let the UI to come back. I can search again with Morocco post, and I might see a few of mine because I recently went to Morocco. Yeah, this is mostly mine, by the way. So in general, the user interface, the service is very fast. There is very low lag in the interaction with Pixelfed and with this instance. It might not be the case for all instances because, as I said earlier, you can run your own instance of Pixelfed if you wish. And depending on where you will be hosting your instance, you will get a different speed. I'm guessing you'll get a different quality of service in general. So again, if I'm interested in this specific tag, I can follow that, and then I'll be able to see those posts in my timeline. Again, I go back here. If I go in my profile, so this is the something that other people can see from my profile. So I can, from there, I can see how many people I'm following, how many people are following me, how many posts. I can edit my profile. I can go in my portfolio, which I'll go in a minute. I can decide to archive image. I can bookmark other posts from others, which I find interesting, where I could later comment if I wish. And I can see also the likes. So every images that I like, and this is where I'm saying. And as you can see, for a specific post, it's pretty much like you see on Instagram. So I can, from there I can write something about this specific sky. This is a what we call a mammotus based cloud, and so I could write something about this guy. I could even post an image with a similar type of cloud. I could also do some formatting when I'm writing comment. So if I want, I can. Oh, it's about just expanding the field here, and I can also say that this comment is sensitive. So other people who are not showing explicit content, then they won't show that unless they can expand this specific comment manually. So this is the likes, and finally the collections. So I decided to create a collection with my images. The first one I created is Morocco 2023, and this specific collection is for all the posts that I've been posted that are coming from my recent trip to Morocco. I spent two weeks there recently, and then I decided to start posting images for this trip. So if I click on that, I'll see all the images from the trip in question. I can add, I can edit this, I can change the title, the description of this collection, and if this collection is visible to everyone that are able to go on this instance, or if only to my followers, or if it's a draft mode, in which case it won't be available to other people. And I then can decide to save that or just cancel that. If I go back on the collection tab here, you can see that this is a collection that I created, which is only for images that are kind of illustrating anything that is about Montreal, the city where I'm living. Currently, there is 5 posts in there. It's currently in draft mode, so it's not available. It's not publicly available right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this collection so other people can see that right now. So if I click edit and I change the visibility and I say public, and then I think I click save on that. Just try to refresh this page. No, I have to edit that and then select publish, say yes. And I think it will eventually come back, and I'll wait a few seconds, or I'll just click save on that. Yeah, right now the collection has been made publicly available for others people to see. And if I want, from there, I can decide to add more photos from my currently published stream, if I might say that. So I could just select an image and then decide to put that inside this collection. There is one bug in the current version of Pixelfed code, is that I decided to import my Instagram images. More on that later. And those images, which are coming from a lot of sources, if I want to put a specific image into this collection, there is this error that keeps popping up, and I don't know why. I think the imported image from Instagram are treated kind of differently, so I cannot add them to collection. But anyway, so if I go back on the Pixelfed here, I'll go back on my profile and then I'll go in my collection. So if I want, I can just um, add the different, I think I could go there. If I want to add an image, I could decide to add another image to this collection. As you can see, it's pretty simple. Or if I have the link to any post from other people, it's not only mine, it can be from other people. I can just enter the URL there and then add this photo to a collection. So if you are doing some research and you want to kind of organize some images on a specific subject, that's the way to use it, by using the collection. So the other thing that you can see here, again, I can see my images like that. I think I prefer that view because I see all my images in their aspect ratio. There's this little sign there that says there's a little indication that how when was the picture posted. And if I scroll down, you'll see that this is where I started using the service, and then you see images like 47 week in the past. Those are the ones images that I used to post on Instagram, and then I decided to import those into Pixelfed. And the reason for that is very simple. It's because Pixelfed is so cool, is so fun to use, that I'm going to close my Instagram account. So I have an Instagram account that has been open since 2015 up until now, but I used to have another Instagram account since 2010 when the Instagram service launched and when it was still fun to use. But now it's a mess, and I'm going to close my account right there in my video at the very end. So again, this is the images that I imported. And so if I click on uh, this image is using the quality that we used to get from the post on Instagram. So you won't get any improvement by importing those images. And this image is imported, and all the tags that I used to put on those picture are being imported as well. And also, if I add a description or if I wrote some text with this image, I could see that in this post. I think I have a few of them. If I go back in time, there is some very spooky thing. If I go there, no, there is no image like that. But you get the idea. The importation is very simple to do. I'll explain that in more details in my upcoming article that I'll share later, and then I'll put the link on in this video description. Yeah, so this is all the images I had. I don't exactly remember how many images I had. So if I go there, yeah, there's only the tags. I can like that, and if people who are going to my profile can like those and comment on those. One important thing is to know is when you are importing your images from Instagram, those images are not going to flood your timeline or your RSS feed. So they are only imported in your profile, and then that's it. And I think it's cool because I didn't want to flood other people's timeline with my importation process. So that's cool. It's a good thing to know. So the other thing to understand also is that you have first to export your data from Instagram, which will create a zip file. And on macOS, depending on the configuration of your browser, if the zip file is expanded automatically, you won't be able to import the content into Pixelfed. You'll have to ask your browser to not expand automatically the zip file so it stays intact, and then you will use this zip file to import into Pixelfed. So let's say I want to go in my profile. If I go in the edit profile there, this is where you set the general setting about your account, the usual thing that you can do in every similar service. Oh, by the way, there's a limit of 7 gig on this instance. I think it's based on each instance. Other instances might provide more or less storage. This is my understanding. 7 gig is it's kind of okay. I have many images that still need to be imported from SmugMug, and I don't know where I'm going to end up. But one thing I want to say is that the images that I'm importing into or that I'm posting on Pixelfed, I'm not using very high resolution like I would do on Unsplash, because if I go on Unsplash, those images are being downloaded by other people because they are high quality, high resolution. They are kind of meeting a specific quality in terms of photography attributes. So the higher resolution that you use for a service like Unsplash is, I think it's mandatory. But on Pixelfed, this is really a social kind of social network. And then I'm trying to keep my images lower in quality. So typically I'm trying to not exceed like 1.5 or 2 megabytes per image. I'm going to import that one here on my desktop. It's a nearly 2000 pixel by 104079, and this file size, if I click on that, it's about 1.4 megabyte on disk. So this is what I'm trying to keep when I'm posting on Pixelfed, so I don't bust this limit. So back to the importation process. If I go in the import section, as you can see, I already imported my zip file, which was 75 megabytes in size, and there was 212 photo posts. So I can review those posts that I imported. As you can see, the date is uh, is kept as is, and I can again select this, and as you can see, it's in French, but this is some text with tags, and those are imported as is. So it's really spooky images, by the way. So again, the importation process works by importing 100 image per session. So if you have more than like 200 or 300 images, when you do the import of the same zip file, the Pixelfed knows which files were already imported, so it's pretty easy to see where to keep, where to start and stop to import new images. So again, if you select import there, it will ask me to use a file name, a file which is of this type, and then just upload that. The process is pretty fast. I'll just cancel that. The process is pretty fast, even for 75 megabytes. It takes a few minutes for the service to process the image, and when the process is complete, then this is where you'll be presented with a picker where you can select which image you want to import into your Pixelfed account. So it's pretty easy to work with, and again, this is because of this importation feature that I have in Pixelfed, that I decided to. One of the reasons why I decided I'm going to close my Instagram account. And speaking of data mobility, those um, um, images that are stored on Pixelfed are still your own images, and if you want, you can export your content, so that if you want to close your account on let's say on this instance, then you can decide to export. And this is what you are seeing right here. Right here is this sudo mode. It's a reference to a Linux mode where you can execute more advanced command. And this is once you enter your password, you'll be able to download your images as as files. So I'll just keep that out. Again, if I go on the account, this is the main account settings. This is where you set the email that is associated with your account. Regarding the media, what type of license that you want to set on it. So I decided to keep all the right, because this is my work and I don't want other people to use that without my permission. Um, Also, I can, I'm not sure about those two options. Require media description, briefly describe your media to improve accessibility for, oh yeah. So I could ask this, this thing is, if I'm posting a new image and I forget to write the alt description of this specific image, I won't be able to post it. So sometimes I just want to post the image without any description. So far, I decided to describe every images that I'm posting for those who are having difficulty to read and see images on screen, but I can select that. Notification, it's coming soon. I don't know what it is. I think it might be desktop notification from the browser. On the iPhone app, the beta it's still currently in beta, but it should be out soon. There is the concept of notification, but it's only within the app. It's not push notification. It's not rich notification that we're used to see on the iPhone. So, but I guess it's that it's coming pretty soon. The privacy thing is what I want other people to see from my profile. Decided to show my follower count, how many people I'm following. And also, I'm a firm believer in RSS feeds. And then this is why I decided to enable the RSS feed on my profile. So if you want to subscribe to my account and read or see my posts from your favorite RSS reader, then you are able to do so. And speaking of RSS reader, let me show you the what you are going to see um, from a reader like Reader. So this is my Pixelfed. There is 25 posts so far. Again, as you can see, my Instagram imported images are not into this feed. So the very first image that I posted is this one. So if I click on that, you'll see that the post content is the title. This is the way Reader is interpreting the feed content. And this is the first image I decided to post. And the reason for that, this is my feed in the sand in Morocco. And I decided to post a specific image because I thought it was a kind of related to the digital trace we live behind online. So, and I thought it was a great image for that. So again, this is all the images I posted, and you can read them or see them through your favorite um, RSS reader. So I can decide to mark that on unread because I want to keep an eye on this because I'm kind of doing some quality control from time to time. So that's pretty cool. I don't think this is something that's possible on Instagram, but even if it was, I don't care. I don't want to use Instagram anymore. This oh, that's why. If I want, I can decide to show my account on the directory, and then other people might see me on the Discover tab that I showed earlier in this video. I can receive, let's say I want to receive direct message from anyone, even if they are not following me, or if I'm not following them, I'm okay with that. If I don't want to be indexed by search engine, I can opt out here, and I can make my account private. So I can submit that and change. Boom, it's changed. Relationship is the people that are following me. This is the people that I'm following. So, and this is the hashtag that I'm following. So this is where I can kind of manage my relationship to the rest of the world. And if I want, I can just decide to block someone or mute someone or simply um, unfollow people right there. And it's pretty handy to have that. And the timeline is that if I want to show text only post, because on Pixelfed, it's not mandatory to post images. You can just see text only post coming up from other instances or from Mastodon, for example. And also I can show replies in my timeline, which I don't want to see. I just want to see images coming from other people that I'm following. So I'll keep those turned off. In the security, again, I'll go back in the sudo mode. I'll go back to that. I'll skip that for this. And the application that I'm, again, using, if I want to block the access to an application that is able to communicate with that, I can do that. Again, if I want to block an instance, or if I want to block the microblog being able to see my stuff, I can just turn that off there. And speaking of which, if I go back on the microblog, or let's say I want to go to Ivory, which is a Mastodon client, which is pretty nice. This is my Mastodon account on techart.social. As you can see, I'm always using the same handle. Let's see what happens if I search for my handle from a Mastodon instance. So numeric citizen. So I'll just hit enter on that, and we'll see what my account is going to come up with. Seems to be, oh, go there. Again, I'll go numeric citizen user with that. If I go there, you'll see different user, and this is the federation in action. Again, my instance, techhub.social knows about Pixelfed instance where my account is there. So this is why you're seeing here my account, which shows that there is no followers, but it's not the case. I think there is a lag in time where information is exchanged between each instances. So this is why it says 0 followers, but my guess over time the value there will be closer to reality. So you see that I can just look at my account from the Mastodon client. You'll see my account here is from Medium. Medium now is supporting the Fediverse, so they have an instance on Fediverse, and this is why I'm seeing the my account there. Also microblog supports Fediverse, so that's why I'm seeing my account, so someone on Mastodon can follow me on microblog. And again, I have an account on Mastodon.social that I created a long time ago, but was finally activated a few weeks ago, but I'm not really using, and this is my actual account. So if I click on that here, I can see my post from the Mastodon account. I can like that, I can boost that, I can reply to that, and then I'll see the reply in this specific post under in the comment section. It's very cool. I like that a lot. Now what I'd like to do is to post an image on the on Pixelfed to see how things go. So I'm going to compose a new post. If I go there, this instance is supporting stories like Instagram. I'm not into that. This is beta. I don't plan to do that. And you can create a new collection as you saw earlier in this video. But I'm going to post a new image. Each post can hold up to 10 different photos and videos. So they are kind of presented in a swappable manner. So if I click on that, I'll select the image that I want to insert. I'll click upload on that. So you see it's pretty fast. I'm going to write I have a text here that I already have. I'm going to paste that, and as you can see, there's a tag there of Morocco, Morocco blues, Morocco man. As you can see, you can use tags in your, I think there is a, so as you can see, it's supporting Grammarly. Okay, I'm supposed to be able to expand that. As you can see here, I can enter a text, the alt description. So this is a scene where birds are in their net. I don't remember how to say that. Um, in an electric tower. Click save on that. I can add that to a collection. It was taken in Morocco, so I'll select the Morocco collection. And I can tag people if I want, just like we can do on Instagram. I can change the license I want to use for that. I can change the location. The location it's not always working like I would like to. It's sometimes not very detailed in the places, locations that we can find. So I'll say Morocco. It should come up with, as you can see, Morocco from USA. It's not good. So I'm going to skip that for now. I'll go back here. And then as you can see my description here, and then I'll click on post. And then eventually it should come back with the post on my timeline, and other people should be able to see that just like, and as you can see, if I over my mouse, you'll see the alt description showing up right there in this image. So people just can like. So this is how the post experience is actually working. And if I go back again in the discover and I go in the hashtag, I think it can do, no, I go there, Morocco. If I hit enter on there, I should be able to see a post from, this is the last one I posted, so I'm pretty much the only one posting things about Morocco. So this is where, this is, I would say, the overall experience with Pixelfed. You can change a few user interface settings, like how do you want your profile to look. I want it to be following the dark mode or the light mode, depending on the time of the day. I want to show the profile layout in a Mansory way. I want to show more compact media previews. I don't want that. I want them to be fully expand. I want people to be able to load comments, and I could decide to hide the counts and stats for each post. So this is what I like. Again, if I go back here and I go on my profile, I think I should see the difference. And when I'm overing the mouse, it's not doing that, but it used to be able to display, I think it's in the collection. If I go in the collection, and then from there, I should be able to see how many people liked, but it doesn't work. There's one thing that I want to show you, and this is the portfolio. There is a portfolio function that has been added recently. I don't know when, but if I click on that, the portfolio is a way for any user to select your best work and then present that in a clean manner like you see there. And from there, you can decide to share your URL to this specific portfolio. And from there, people will be able to go up to your profile if they want to see your profile. If I go back to see my portfolio, and also they can select they can use an RSS feed to subscribe to your portfolio only. So the way I decided to configure my portfolio is to display the most recent images, but I could select it to be coming from a specific album or a specific collection if I want. So someone who is following me will be able to see all the image that I'm posting. So I'm not really doing a portfolio, but I find it interesting to be able to follow someone's through a specific RSS for a specific set of images. So, and the look is pretty nice. If I click on that on the iPad, I can select and I can just swipe the images. If I'm here on the desktop and I want to just um, use the keyboard, I can do that. And when I'm at the very end, so you can see all the images in high quality. Again, I'm not posting a very high resolution images, so this is where my images might look a bit fuzzy for high resolution screen, but it's okay. I mean, you get the idea. You get the overall look of those images. And I think when you are at the very end, oh, it used to kind of do a kind of a small animation where it shows that I cannot go further. I think it's on the iPad. I can do that with a slideshow, which is pretty cool. I can use again this view. This view reminds me about we used to get that on Flickr, and also I can just cancel that and come back to the portfolio and come back to my profile if I want. So um, I think it's pretty cool. I think it gives you a good overview of Pixelfed, and I could not be happier with that. Um, and again, I'm so happy with that that I'm going to try to close my account right there in Instagram. So this is the account center on Instagram, which is on the Meta website, and then I can decide to delete my account. If you go on the article that I'll be publishing later, you'll be able to see what my Instagram account looked like before it was closed. So if I try to do that right now, I click continue. Yeah, it will ask me the password for my Instagram account, and I'll have to look for that. I don't have it right now, but I'm going to close that. I don't want to do that right now. And then I'll be done once and for all with the um, Instagram um, thing. So it's pretty much what I had to say regarding Pixelfed. If you have any question about this service, feel free to post comments below below the video, and I'll be more than happy to answer that. You can look also for Pixelfed source code, which is available on GitHub. I'll put the link to that also, where you can see the release history of Pixelfed. I must say that the project is maintained by, I think there's the founder and two other contributors to the project, and it's being maintained. There's a lot of things that are announced on the Pixelfed Mastodon account, where let's try to find that. If I go back on Ivory and I search for here, Pixelfed, if I go there, I'll try to look at the official. So this is the official Mastodon account for Pixelfed. There is a kind of a lot of followers, and this is where the announcements are being made for upcoming features. I think they announced things like being able to log in to your Pixelfed account by using your Mastodon account. There's better spam control that is going to be coming up soon. So yeah, so the project is maintained. New versions are coming up from time to time. I did not experience any update in recent days since I'm using the service. But that being said, I'm pretty confident that this service is going to thrive in the future. I encourage you to try that. It's free, so you just have to spend a few minutes and try for yourself. So again, I'm pretty much done. If I look at this timer here, I'm pretty much done. Thank you for watching the whole thing. Like the video if you liked it. You might also share it with your friends, and then I'll be happy for that to happen. So again, thank you for watching this video. That's pretty much everything I had to say regarding Pixelfed, and see you guys for another one. Thank you. Bye.